platform. This is Mr. Mlonga, aka the teacher, here to do mathematics indeed. Be ready for the lesson that is coming forth. If you are new to this channel, you are welcome. Please subscribe so that every time we post a video, you are the first to be notified. We'll be posting videos every day.
Patalo bonse tu abana ma play shy Nikatai mu fefisu ma fileisa Bafye mu izu ipangile lecture Nikapema bafye she fell into lecture you
Consider writing this 4 in index form. When we do that, we are going to have 2 to the power 2 x minus 3 times 2 to the power x plus 2 equals 0. At this point, we have just written that 4 in index form, meaning we have a 2 to the power 2, which stands for 4 to the power that x there. So it will come out as 2 to the power 2x. Then this same 2 to the power 2x can be broken down. So if we have to break it down, we write it as index of an index, like in this form. Then it means it can also be written as 2 to the power x, then to the power 2. It's still the same thing. So let us break it down to that standard. Then what are we going to have? We are going to have, in this position here, we have a 2 to the power x, then in brackets like that, to the power 2 minus this 3 times 2 to the power x plus 2 is equal to 0. After doing that, we can say let 2 to the power x be equal to y. So we are saying let 2 to the power x be equal to y. Meaning, where there is this 2 to the power x, we are going to write just one variable y. Hence, this becomes y to the power 2, these 2. Remember, these 2 to the power x has become y. Then minus 3 times this 2 to the power x has become y. Then plus 2 is equal to 0. From there, this can be multiplied to that. So we have y to the power 2 minus 3 times y, giving out a 3y plus 2 is equal to 0. What we have here is a quadratic equation. So you can find the product, the sum, and the factors. Product, sum, and the factors. So how do we get the product? To find the product, you multiply the first term times the constant. So the first term, the y squared times the 2, is actually going to give us a positive 2y squared. Then the sum is the middle term. Y is raised to the power 1. This is the term, and you pick it together with the sign. Hence we have a negative 3y. What about the factors? Two terms that can be multiplied to get the product, and they can be added to get the sum. What are those two? We can try negative 2y and negative y. When you say negative 2y minus y, it will give you a negative 3y. Negative 2y times negative y, it will give you a positive 2y to the power 2. When that is done, you can now substitute. So to substitute into that, it means at this point you still have, yes, y to the power 2. This sum, we substitute it with that. So minus y, then minus 2y, then plus 2 equals 0. When that is done, you can now introduce the brackets. Open the brackets, y squared minus y close brackets minus open brackets 2y. If you put a plus here, it means it will be negative times positive, giving out a negative. So we'll put a negative so that we do not change anything. Then a 2 there, such that when we say negative times 2y, it will give you a negative 2y. Negative times negative 2, it will give you a positive 2. Then this is equal to 0. When that is done, you can now start factorizing. What is common here? What is the common factor? The common factor in the first bracket is y. So you have y, Then what remains here? It's y minus 1, then minus, what is a common factor there? It's 2. So then y minus 1, like that, is equal to 0. After doing that, you still have to factorize more, because there is a common factor, which is this. It's common. So you still have to do factorization in the next step. Hence we have y minus 1 in brackets, open brackets. This y minus 1 is already there, so the y has remained. This y minus 1 is already there, so this negative 2 has remained, like that. Then this is equal to 0. At this point, you have factorized completely. We chose to use factorization methods. There are so many methods. So then you equate, you say this equal to 0, y minus 1 is equal to 0, then y minus 2 is equal to 0. At this point now, you can collect the like terms. So if we have to collect the like terms, we have y is equal to 0 plus 1. Y is equal to 1. This will be the first answer. For the second one, we can say y is equal to 0 plus 2. Then y is going to be equal to 2. This is our second value of y. But remember, the variable that we started with is not y. The variable we started with is this x. Sorry, this is multiplication and not x. So we have to find the value of this x, not y. After getting the values of y, you now have to get back to this. To get back to that, you say y is equal to 2 to the power x. Y is equal to 2 to the power x. So then, the first value of y is 1. So y is this 2 to the power x. Hence, what are we saying? We are saying 2 to the power x is equal to 1, owing to that. Then, this, according to indices, any number to the power 0 is equal to 1. So we can write it as 2 to the power x is equal to 1 to the power 0. Okay? Because it can also be the same as 2 to the power x is equal to 2 to the power 0, such that these can go, but 2 to the power 0 still give you a 1, because any number to the power 0 is equal to 1. Then we are going to say the first value of x is actually going to be equal to 0, because at this point these 2 and that 2 are equal, so we ignore them. Then we just remain with this x and that 0, and this is the first answer. After that, you also have to consider the second aspect. Y is equal to 2. Remember, this y is 2 to the power x. So you are saying 2 to the power x, let me use a different color, 2 to the power x, which is in position of y, is equal to 2. When that is done, you can see this is a 2 and that is a 2, so you ignore them. But what is the power of these 2? It's 1. So these 2 are ignored, but you remain with x is equal to 1. So we have the first, the answer for x is equal to 1. This is our second value of x. So they are going to just be 2 values of x, and those 2 values are 0 and positive 1. So for a question like this one, it's very important to remember the rule that any number to the power 0 at this point is equal to 1. So to get this 1, it could have been that it's 2 to the power 0. That's why we had to write 2 to the power 0, such that these, yes, they are equal, so we ignore them. When they are equal and we ignore them, it means in terms of powers, we have to equate the powers to get the values of x. So we said x is equal to 0. Same applies to the other one. Even in this case, we had to say 2 to the power x is equal to 2. But what is the power of these 2? It's 1. So these 2 We ignore them. Yes, they are equal. Then we just equate powers. So x is equal to 1. This marks the end of our lesson. Please, if you have not subscribed, this is the time to do so. It's mathematics all the way until Jesus Christ comes. Take a minute of your time and imagine the world without mathematics.